What is going on, everybody? Brent Abel here. We'll go, I was going to say web gold something. Goldball.com. I'm so excited about this episode that I got a little flummoxed. Whoa,
Flummoxed.
flummoxed.
Wow.
I mean, does anyone ever use that word like in standard conversation?
Now we do again. You
Yeah,
brought it
baby.
back.
Yeah, baby. All right. So, guys, listen, thanks for hanging out with us. Another episode of the Gold Ball Hunting Podcast. And we got a little follow-up episode today based on what you guys watched yesterday. Hopefully you saw yesterday's episode with the edited match video and stats from the Mike Tammons and Maurice Hunter match recently played here at Mission Hills Country Club at the Crable Classic. Masters. Flummoxed again.
Flummoxed again.
So, guys, hang in there with us because I'm going to tee up Jeff, and I know he's going to just go.
So the big question is this. How are tennis players like us who never played on the tour, weren't incredible juniors, or maybe got a late start to the game, how do we consistently compete at our highest skill level without having to grind through endless hours of encore practice time and still be in the hunt for the victory match after match? That is the question, and Gold Ball Hunting gives you the answers by helping you eliminate your skill level range so that you build a strong foundation of confidence. My name is Jeff Jacklich, and along with Brent Abel, my partner, welcome to Gold Ball Hunting.
All right, Jeffrey, what's going on there, dude? How are you today? Looks like you're not in Northern California. Well, maybe Central California.
I'm on the Western Hemisphere. I'm just not going to divulge where.
Okay.
Keep you guessing.
Incognito. Keep us all flummoxed. Wow.
Flummoxed.
All right. Okay. Well, incognito. That's cool. So look, yesterday we looked at the Hunter Tammons match, which was just absolutely spectacular. I mean, it was tooth and nail the whole time. It was weird because Mike Tammons jumps out to a 5-0 lead in the first set. 5-0 lead in the first set. And you can see Maurice over there kind of just kind of going, yeah, this sucks. This is like, and you're looking at Mike Tammons and just going, he's just not missing anything. And, you know, of course, Maurice contributes a little bit here and there as I mean, anytime you get up 5-0 on a guy who's right at your skill level, it's not like you are winning every point on your own terms. The guy gives you a couple of contributions here and there. But then, it turns around and Mike actually ends up winning the tiebreaker in the first. So, but then Maurice ends up pulling the thing out. 11-9 in the Super TB in the third.
Man.
So it was spectacular tennis. But we're going to follow up today, Jeff, on some thoughts about stroke efficiency, which is what you talked a lot about yesterday in our introduction to the match, was for everyone to just really be aware of efficiency of stroke technique. And what I asked you if we could talk about, and then you kind of came up with something better, but I was asking about, asking everyone to look at their just forehand and backhand. And what are you doing that's making you work extra hard, even if occasionally, because I know it's not happening 100% of the time. Someone's not teeing up a big buggy whip, Rafa deal, lag snap and wipe, and getting the result they want every time.
Right.
And maybe they hit one in a row, two in a row, but it's like, God damn.
Right.
Oxygen? Oh, no, dude, it's sea level.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So what do you think? And we're kind of thinking about one guy in particular that we want to message this to today. We're not going to name names, but I know that this one guy is in a big group of players who are in the 60 age group.
Right.
Who are almost, and that's young enough to me, Jeff, where it's kind of like maybe because this is a guy who's never been in the hunt for ball, right? Never gotten the quarters or a third round of a category 1, which is a lot of you guys and gals out there. But I think a lot of players are thinking that, okay, I watch the guys who are good, who are winning. I watch the Mark Vines. I watched the Maurice Hunters and the Mike Tammons. Gosh, they're not hitting a ton of top. Huh. But my pro at home
is insisting.
Yes. It's insisting that the only way I can do it is to play, top. So, Jeffrey, I could go on without, you could just sit there all day long and just look pretty. And then I'd go on.
Very easy for me to do.
Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. What are you, looking in the mirror or something? Okay.
Yeah, man. I got my little picture up there.
Okay.
Me talking to me.
You talking to me. All right. Help me out here. What do you think?
Well, okay. Where do you start with this? I think, one of the, notes I made 2 days ago, as we were privately ranting, was, if you think as a player, as a senior player, and you think developing, top spin off of both sides is the end all be all, and that's going to actually get you across the finish line. And I don't mean like winning an event.
Guys who are winning, right? It's going to beat the Tammans, the Hunters, and the Vines.
Yeah, it's going to
beat these old school looking guys.
That's going to be the tipping point. I think, what did I write? I said, buckle up, because
Buttercup.
The road to honing that to the degree it needs to be honed and refined is a long way down the road, like a long way down the road. And so, as senior players, you got to ask yourself some really honest, sometimes gut-wrenching questions. Do you have enough time to get this done, to actually get that technique to the point where now it becomes what you think it should be in order to overcome these top guys? Do you have the time in terms of years to get it done? Do you have the time today to put the amount of reps in? Do you have the time tomorrow to put the amount of reps in, the next day and the next day, and so on and so on? You see where I'm going with this? And so I think it's just a brutal reality check, because here's the deal. Whatever it is you're working on right now as a player, why are you working on it? Who suggested that you should work on it? In context, in relationship to the way you think, your style of play, does it make sense to add this element or continue to work on whatever the element is to actually broaden your game, to fulfill a gap in your game that actually you think is actually going to be the thing that might, again, tip the scale in your favor? And this is where I think a lot of players just go completely off the rails, which is why I think it's so important for the players out there to watch this match, go back and watch the Mark Vines match and just see the efficiency of production, see the efficiency of movement, and see the harsh reality of playing top senior tennis in your age group. There's so much kind of loose stabbing. It's kind of like, we call it the shotgun approach. Well, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of that, and I'm going to work on my topspin forehand. Then I got to get up there and work on this little, this little inside out carby backhand volley into that. I mean, it can be so random, and again, contextually, it doesn't fit who you are, the type of game that you naturally want to play, and so on. So I think it's just a road that I think, unless you have somebody who understands the senior game, can guide you and look at what you're doing when you play, not what you're doing when you're hitting on the ball machine or when you're rapping, and glean a few things from that, but not how you think, how you emotionally respond to missing, how you emotionally respond to winning, hitting winners. Because we can end up with an emotional, like, going down a rabbit trail from both of those effects, from hitting a really bad shot, yanking a passing shot that you should have made, and to actually making it and then giving yourself the big come on and then spiking your emotional range, and now the next point you give away, you double fault, or you just handed it right back because you're so spun out, you're so like ramped up. So for me, the context of this is there are so few pros out there who really can speak and service the senior player who wants to play in the senior national tournaments and who wants to improve and get better, but has no one to help them with the roadmap of how to do it and how to get there and what's important and what should we leave on the cutting room floor, because it's irrelevant to the context of what it is we're trying to get done. So there's my rant. So from watching the match yesterday, hopefully, especially, for me, because I've played him, I've spent some time, a couple matches with Mike Taman on the court. I have yet to get over that hump. Played him in singles, I think, a few years ago at the Wilson. I think I lost 5-6 or 4-6. Very tight, great match.
Good.
Definitely had my opportunities, and couldn't get it over the hump on those opportunities.
I would say, guys, like the one thing we're not saying is that every shot you should play out there should be underspin. We're not saying that. What we are saying is that not every shot out there should be topspin. And the big mistake that I see a lot of teaching pros making is, whether it's intentional or not, they are putting this thought in their students' minds that every time a ball is over in your right, if you're right-handed, that you should be loading up to hit whatever that topspin forehand, the type of instruction that you're getting on every ball.
Right.
And so what I see is players trying to top forehands or trying to top backhands. Shouldn't I have a topspin backhand? On some very specific times, you'd like to have a little up roll on the ball. So it's got a little bit of dip. But for me, Jeff, I'm thinking, and I watch this all the time with, even the guys I practice with who sort of have this thing that, well, every time I should be hitting a topspin forehand. Well, dude, if that's what you're thinking, then I'm never going to give you a ball that is ideal for a topspin forehand. If you can't adjust to a short ball where you got to come in, it's a short ball, man, maybe you drove a great topper deep and I went in there and, gave you a short ball. And now I see a guy coming in, he's trying to load up with a grip, trying to get under, trying to get the ball, trying to get out, and it just gets butchered.
Right.
So the best players, look, Mark Vines hits top spin, but he does it on only certain balls.
Right. I think as you were talking there, I was thinking, Mark Vines hits one of the most beautiful, carved or just not a full slice forehand approach, but he kind of slides that racket through the ball just so smoothly when he approaches from a slightly lower ball on the forehand side. I mean, it's a thing of beauty. That racket just slides through contact, and it is a thing of beauty. This little slide, I call it, not because it's not like quite a pure slice forehand when he approaches. It's kind of a slide. That's the only way I can describe it. And you have to watch him play and watch him do it, because it is. So you know what I'm getting at, Brenny. But it's a beautiful thing to watch him do, and it's so effective. Ball slides through the court, stays down low, and he's going to make his opponent bring the ball. Let's see, if it's down low, bring the ball up to him while he's at the net.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, look, one of the things he knows, and we've asked this question before, well, what does this guy know that some of the other top competitors don't know? And I would say, I think there's kind of a couple things. Number one is he's super convicted with his swing. Once he decides, and it's probably for him, it's no longer he sees a ball and goes, I could go there or I could go there. Let's see. It's like whatever's the first thought that comes into his mind, he just sticks with it. And because he realizes, look, I can't control what that guy does over there, in response to his shot. He's going to try to move to what he thinks is the next best court position. So whatever's the initial instinct for Mark, I think he just sticks with it. And then he's super convicted to to the swing. But I think the other thing he knows maybe better than the other guys, and it's a small margin of knowing more, but I think he knows which spin to play depending on the type of incoming ball that he's been presented with. And that's
he
where
knows, he knows his strike zone. Which type of forehand or which type of backhand best suits this part of my strike zone? And that's another aspect of players that struggle, like we're talking about, forcing my topspin forehand in the whole range.
Right.
Instead of knowing that, when the ball's in this part of my strike zone and my forehand, this type of forehand out of that part of the strike zone is really what gets the job done for me over and over and over again. I can hit the ball in all day long, not going for so much spin. In this part of the strike zone, this is where I like to kind of tee it up, because it's right there. It's tailor-made. This part of my strike zone, not so much. I gotta take a little. I gotta not work so hard to try and crank over the ball. Maybe I should just hit just an easy high roller out of this one.
So here's what I'm writing. I'm writing myself a note that when we edit this or when I edit this thing, I've got a little 90-second clip that I took of Mark, and I just had the camera and I just did a 180 around him.
Yeah.
Got some forehands and backhands. And what I'm going to do at the end of this is just add that to the end so that you guys can take a look at this guy. But I guess the message that we continue to try to hammer home is that, guys, you got to figure out how to become super efficient with your swing, with your stroke technique. And the more efficient you can become, what you're going to discover is you get more consistent. You get actually more balls in play, going towards your intended target more often. You don't wear yourself out as much, and your confidence stays here. Right? When you probably choose the right shot depending on the kind of ball that's been presented to you. Whether it's for me, like for me, a heavy topper is not really what everyone thinks of as heavy, which is big type of rotation. For me, a heavy topper is a certain ball comes in, I get to sort of run around the backhand a little bit. It sits there about halfway between the tee and the baseline, and I get under that thing and I roll this thing up.
Right.
And it's got enough top on it. It's got enough. I mean, heavy for me is that the trajectory is high, and I'm just trying to get a nice bounce over there. And it's an approach shot. I'm coming in, right? But other than that, I mean, I hit topspin when it's appropriate. And I hit slice forehands when it's appropriate. And I'll come in and do the old Mac thing where he was taught by, Palafox, that when you come into contact, you stop the racket. You come in and stop. Right. And so you get this thing where there's really no follow through to it. But sometimes you're presented with that ball, Jeff, where there's no time other than to just become a backboard, absorb it, let the ball compress because you're not getting the racket off, and let the ball rebound out on its own. So there's different types of forehands based on what you're presented with.
Totally.
And so I would encourage you guys. I mean, we're really encouraging you guys. Don't get locked into thinking that topspin is the answer. That just pure topspin all by itself is the answer to getting you that result, whether it's singles or doubles that you want. Right. Yeah, guys, look, hang in there. Even when Jeff goes through his what do we want the fine folks to do? Hang in there with us afterwards, because I'm gonna throw that clip of Mark Vines on there. Jeffrey, what do we want the fine folks to do right now?
You almost got flummoxed there again.
Oh, God dang it. 2 days in a row.
Like us, share us. Please subscribe. Let us know what you think down below. iTunes and Stitcher. Rate and review. Goldballhunting.com.
Come on.
Come on over.
Just share the love.
Come on over.
Share it.
The water's fine.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, in terms of getting efficient with your strokes, Jeff and I are offering 2 one-day workshops down here in the desert in January, January 16 and 17. It's a Thursday and Friday. It is right at the end of the Palm Springs Senior Tournament and right before the start of the Wilson World Classic Tournament. One-day workshops for you, and we'd love to get you in there. We've got there's a link right below the video that will take you to the information video that Jeff and I put together about a week ago or so. And if you already know that you want in, then right below that link is another link that will take you to the application, because we are vetting everyone just to make sure that this is a great fit for you. That we've got gals right there at your specific skill level. Guys, at the end of this, get out there and have a great day and all that stuff, which I mean, is make sure that you watch the end, because you're going to see some great stuff from Mark Fine. So here it is. Guys, get out there today. Help someone else have a spectacular day. Don't get flummoxed as you do it. And Jeff will do this again tomorrow.
Can't wait.